So thank you for joining for this session. In today's session, we will see dynamic cloud security. So before starting, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Josefa. I am the pre-sales consultant at Redington Gulf. So I look after the whole Fortinet product portfolio. Um in today's session, our focus will be on finding out what is dynamic cloud, what are the different solutions, what is basically what is dynamic cloud made up of, what are the different solutions Fortinet can offer. Okay, then some will see at some use we'll see some use cases, and also will look at the competition. Will discuss high level, at a very high level we'll discuss competition as well. And we also have a Q&A section. So there is a Q&A. I believe everyone would be able to see the Q&A part. So if you have any queries, you can post it there, and at the end we will address those queries. Also, at the end of the session, we have a quiz. Okay, so we'll guide you how to take the quiz, and please stay tuned with us. So again, I would like to thank you first before starting. Thank you for joining us for this session. So, uh, what does cloud mean to our customers? So, what exactly is cloud? Okay, and why it cannot be ignored. So, simply because the cloud simply cannot be ignored, and we can basically provide an endless stream of facts for cloud adoption, why cloud is good. Okay, but the bottom line is that nearly all of our customers, okay, have or are in the process of moving some of their applications to public cloud, right? We already have customers who already are on the cloud or are in the process of moving to the cloud. Okay, in fact 85% of CIOs and CTOs interviewed in the spring of 2019 said that cloud was essential for at least two of the three most common CEO priorities, that is revenue acceleration, improved agility and time to market, and cloud reduction and cost reduction. So two of the three CEO priorities were the essential CEO priorities were taken care by cloud adoption. So next we see what are the different types of clouds. Okay, so different types of cloud computing include infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. Then we have platform as a service, or PaaS, and then we have software as a service, or SaaS. Okay, then infrastructure as a service, when we talk about IaaS or IaaS, it is a form of cloud computing where the cloud service provider, or CSP, provides virtualized computing resources over the internet. So this includes the underlying physical infrastructure, and servers, networking, and storage. So IaaS simply provides infrastructure. Okay, it provides physical infrastructure over the cloud to the customers. Okay, now when we talk about platform as a service, or PaaS, it is a model in which the cloud service provider delivers the hardware and software tools, usually those needed for application development, to users over the internet. The PaaS provider hosts the hardware and software on its own infrastructure. Okay, so as a result, when the hardware and the software both are offered by the cloud service provider, it frees developers from having to install in-house hardware and software to develop and run new applications. So they don't waste a lot of time in deploying the hardware and software. They can simply use the services provided by the platform as a service provider. Now, the third is SaaS, or software as a service. So it is a software distribution model in which a third party provider hosts applications that are used or consumed by other organizations. So SaaS, cloud service providers simply host web applications, or applications or services, okay, that can be used by others. So the most common example is like Office 365 and Salesforce, right? Now, each of the discussed model or the models that we saw in the previous slide, that is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, okay, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. So one way of understanding the advantages and disadvantages is to have a look at how responsibility of security is shared between the cloud customer and the cloud service provider in each case. Okay, in the traditional on-prem data center, when when the customer is not in cloud, totally on-prem, okay, in that case customer is responsible for all the security. You can see it on the slide, right? So for on-prem, customer is responsible for the security, and but this makes security responsibility clear, and makes it relatively easy to set and enforce standard security policies, right, and procedures. So for, if everything is on prem and in control of the customer, it becomes relatively easy, right, to manage. Now this on prem model changes once you move apps to the cloud. Once you move some part of your application, or some applications to the cloud. In public cloud computing, when we talk about public cloud, here we are talking about both IaaS and PaaS, that is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. Okay, the customer is still responsible for securing key areas such as control of the platform, access control, data and application security, and container security. Other areas such as the configuration and network security are shared by customer and the cloud vendor. And of course, the cloud vendor is responsible for the physical security, the underlying hypervisor or underlying servers. That is the responsibility of the cloud provider. Rest all, it is the customer's responsibility even when the application moves to the cloud. So the data and configuration, it is all should be taken care by the customer. It is not the responsibility of the cloud service provider. Now, when we talk about SaaS, so in SaaS or software as a service model, such as Office 365 or Salesforce.com, the vendor is responsible, or the cloud service provider is responsible for the most part of the security. But the customer still needs to be sure that data stores and other configurations are compliant with security policies, and that access control is also appropriately restricted. Okay, so we often talk about cloud, but the reality is that most organizations use a number of different clouds, both public and private, right? When we talk about cloud, cloud can be private cloud, public cloud. Okay, private cloud include your VMware, your Hyper-V, your Citrix, and public cloud, your different public cloud providers. So now, what is private cloud? Private cloud is nothing but it's simply a traditional data center with virtualized machines. Okay, so it can be instead of physical servers, or together with physical servers and virtual servers. So that is your private cloud or your traditional data center. Now the public cloud is using shared computing resources on a platform, such as from a cloud service provider. So there you are using a shared platform, right? So you might spin up a VM on that same host, or that same same platform. There might be other VMs running for other customers. It's a shared model, right? So the public cloud is a shared model. So the major cloud service providers include Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google. Okay, and also there are other CSPs like Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Alibaba Cloud, and IBM Cloud. Okay, so most companies using multiple public clouds, or the multiple cloud model, or the multi-cloud model. Now this may lead to spread risk by diversifying. Okay, this may diversify the risk, because now why people use multiple clouds, one of the major reason is because some developers simply prefer one cloud over another. Okay, so in the same organization, some developers might prefer Azure, some might prefer Amazon. Okay, or it might be a result of some legacy deployments. Okay, some only certain cloud vendors support some legacy deployments. And some companies even use a combination of traditional on-premise computing and cloud computing resources, right? So many customers we know about, they have on-prem data center as well as they have hosted services on the public cloud as well, right? We call these as we call such customers as hybrid cloud customers, right? Means they are both on public cloud and private cloud. Okay. But where so in hybrid cloud, basically applications or part of applications are both present on prem or on public cloud. Okay. Now, what is dynamic cloud? Okay. So dynamic cloud is basically, okay, where applications or parts of applications, they move from on-prem to the public cloud, uh, or later back again. So our target market for this, or our target for this presentation or this webinar, will be focusing on the dynamic multi-cloud. Now, to summarize again, what was dynamic multi-cloud is simply moving your apps from private cloud to public cloud, or back from public cloud to private. So these are dynamic. Okay. So it's not like my application is hosted on private, it will be always private. I have 10 applications on private, I have 10 applications on public, and they will remain as it is. No, there people now the customers are moving towards dynamic multi-cloud, where they are hosting certain services on the cloud, and they might move it back to on-prem or vice versa. Okay. So it's dynamic, so we need to be prepared. We need solutions that can uh, that can cater to this particular movement by the customer. Okay. So now, cloud adoption increases attack surface, right? So we also need to secure our services or data on the cloud. Now, cloud computing, when we talk about cloud computing or cloud resources, they can be just as secure as the traditional data centers. Okay. So but it does introduce some new challenges. Now, they can be same as our traditional on-prem data centers, but with cloud adoption there are some challenges that need to be addressed. So now these challenges include the added complexity when security responsibilities is shared. We saw the shared responsibility model, right? When it is not clear, this can add some confusion. Okay. And also inevitable increase in the number of users with elevated privileges. Usually when cloud users are created, they have full privileges. So that is again a security challenge, and result of various DevOps methodologies and decentralized application development. So there may be also use of different orchestration and management systems used by different DevOps teams in different clouds, or to many different security systems that each cloud vendor strives to convince the customer. Okay. To use all this together, okay, different things, to using all this together, it just creates an increased attack surface and increased risk. Okay. Now, adding to the confusion and the complexity brought about by moving to the cloud, okay, it's on top of the confusion that arises with cloud option, with all the security, shared responsibility and different privileges and all those. So other part also is worldwide shortage of skilled security professionals. Now, the shortage inevitably, this particular skill shortage will inevitably lead to security shortfalls and breaches. Okay. And it is driving the desire for security solutions, and customers are want security solutions that are automated, simple, and that can be centrally managed and monitored. Okay. So point solutions, whether from cloud vendors themselves or multiple cloud security vendors, result in more complexity and more challenges for understaffed and overworked security teams, right? So if even in cloud we have point products, right? So if you are a dynamic cloud, if your customer is a dynamic cloud customer present on multiple public clouds, private clouds, to and from, so to and the applications change from public cloud to private cloud and so on, and you have point solutions, okay, from either the cloud vendor or from different other security vendors. So it will just increase the complexity and confusion. Okay, now to sum up what we just saw till now, so the reality is that companies are moving to the cloud, and not just one cloud. They are going to a dynamic multi-cloud. Okay, now this movement between the cloud increases business agility, right? It makes the business more agile, more flexible, but and it also helps in reducing the cost. Okay, but it increases risk, and that risk is made worse by shortage of skilled security professionals. Okay, now uh, dynamics cloud security for any cloud. Now we'll see customer initiatives. Now customer initiatives, we see three different type of cloud adoption initiatives taken by the customer. Okay, so why cloud adoption initiatives or customer initiatives means why they are moving to the cloud or how they are moving to the cloud basically. So first, we have organizations porting or migrating existing applications to the cloud. Okay, so often parts of the application, customer data, for example, stay on prem. Okay, or customer facing components such as web servers are cloud hosted. So some parts remain on prem, some parts remain on the cloud. Okay, second are those who are building cloud native applications, often using modern, DevOps methodologies, containers, and orchestration tools such as Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, to increase agility and portability. Okay, this is basically they are building their application from scratch on the cloud using various, advanced and modern technologies and tools. Okay, now the third initiative or the third customer initiative is that is consuming online applications or software as a service such as Microsoft Office 365 or Box or Dropbox, right? Now each of these different models require different sets of security. We saw the different difference in shared security model. So each one requires different sets of security services. Okay, so those consuming cloud applications simply require, okay, like consume the third part, the consume SaaS applications, they simply require platform visibility and control to ensure that they monitor and correct configuration and security settings. So while those who are building native cloud applications, they need to add application security to protect their applications from attacks. So attacks that are often application specific and that may be based on zero-day threats, right? Okay. Now finally, organizations that are migrating applications need platform control and visibility. They need application security and network security to ensure secure access to their applications and the data that it supports. Okay. Now these three areas, that is network security, application security, platform visibility and control, are the three pillars of cloud security. Now first we'll see network security. So by network security, we primarily mean using FortiGate to secure and monitor network traffic. So network security needs to provide simple and secure cloud on ramp. It needs to provide protection of the integrity of your network and applications. It needs to include broad visibility across clouds, branches, and data centers. Okay, network security must be supported by integrated AI-driven breach prevention. And finally, network security solutions must be able to be integrated into automation and orchestration tools and workflows. Next is application security, which is the second pillar of cloud security. Okay, so application security relies primarily on Fortinet's, in Fortinet's case, it relies primarily on FortiWeb. FortiWeb is the web application firewall of Fortinet. So in FortiWeb, it utilizes Forti Sandbox and other tools for detecting zero-day threats and we utilize FortiGate to block those threats. Okay. In addition, 40 CWP, we'll see CWP in little bit detail in the later slides. Okay, so just to have a brief, so 40 CWP can be used to ensure the configuration of your applications and storage comply with best practices. Okay. Now, some of the characteristics of application security include centralized protection for web applications, deploy API specific security packages, container security, automated threat response with Fortinet Security Fabric. Now, FortiWeb in this case will detect threats and FortiGate will block them. Now, the third pillar, that is platform visibility and control. So, in this case, in platform visibility and control, we are primarily talking about 40 CWP, that is Fortinet's cloud workload protection. So, effective effective platform visibility and control must include deep native cloud integration. It should provide visibility into configuration and policies, user entity behavior analysis or UBA, and risk scoring, malware and sensitive data protection, compliance reporting and remediation, and finally, it must include an automated response and possibly automated remediation of errors that are found. Now, all these pillars rely on a powerful central management solution to ensure streamlined operations, consistent security policies across clouds and data centers, and deep visibility into security events, alerts, and conditions. Now, let's talk about management and automation. Okay, so management and automation of Fortinet Security Fabric and our solution with the cloud providers. Okay. Now, most vendors' discussion about management starts by showing a dashboard of policies or resources to be managed. Okay, this is their management discussion, that these are the policy and resources that they have to manage. Okay, but with Fortinet, we start a little earlier with our unique Fabric connectors. So these Fabric connectors are basically tools that allow you to connect your network to external services, including cloud vendors, thread feeds, or orchestration and analytic tools. These connectors provide powerful integration into other services. There are three types of Fabric connectors. We have Cloud SDN, we have SSO identity, and thread feeds. So basically, these connectors are used to integrate with third-party providers. Okay. So the Fortinet Security Fabric is a key part of Fortinet's overall security strategy. So if you are dealing with Fortinet, from the last couple of years, you might have heard this term again and again, the Fortinet Security Fabric, right? Because Fortinet Security Fabric is a very, very key or important strategy for security with Fortinet. Okay, and basically it uses the connectors that we saw previously to tie together most of the Fortinet solutions, enabling them, when they're tied together, when they work together, they it enables them to share analytics, security events, threat feeds, and policy. And it does so, and it shares so across branches, data centers, and cloud. So basically, the Fortinet Security Fabric enables true automation driven single pane of glass management. Now, when we talk about true automation driven single pane of glass management, this includes zero touch deployment, single console visibility, configuration management, multi factor authentication, and of course, high availability. Now, Fortinet offers a variety of dashboards and views to help your customers stay on top of security events and network changes. So this includes security threat and event dashboards, as well as network topology views. Now, Fortinet's automation stitches. Now, when we talk about management and automation, so Fortinet uses automation stitches. Okay, so Now, what does automation stitches do? They just simplify automated security response. And what is a automation stitch? Basically, each stitch or each automatic automation stitch pairs an event trigger and one or more actions. So when a trigger happens, it will take a particular action, okay, or multiple actions. So this is probably an automation stitch, and probably a pair. Okay, when this event happens or this trigger happens, it should take the following actions. Okay, so these actions allow you to monitor your network and take automatic and appropriate action. So when Security Fabric detects a threat, you can use automation stitches to detect events from any source in the Security Fabric and apply the actions. So in addition, many organizations have adopted infrastructure as a code or IAC tech methodologies and tools to create and manage complex deployments that would otherwise take days or weeks to implement. So with REST APIs and integration of popular automation and orchestration tools such as Azure ARM templates and AWS Cloud Formation templates. Okay. Now this is a very important slide. Okay, you can have a look at the various services that we have available on different cloud platforms. So now most security vendors may provide one or two security solutions, that is including firewall, application security, or even perhaps cloud workload protection. Okay, now Fortinet is unique in the depth and breadth of security offerings. Now the this particular list shows a snapshot of our security solutions, and this does not include SaaS offerings such as web application firewall as a service or workload protection as a service. Here we are not talking about SaaS. We are talking about only VMs. Only the solutions that can be deployed or spun up on the cloud. Okay. Now. Uh, So in this slide, if you see a check mark, the check mark basically indicates that the software is available on these all platforms. Now the B as in beta, stands in or B indicates that the software is available in the vendor marketplace, but the user will require prior license. So B stands for bring your own license. Okay, and P, so P stands for pay as you go and indicates that the software can be spun up and paid for through the cloud marketplace, and the cost will be based on demand, that is how much is used or consumed. Okay, so there are two models on public cloud, whereas it can be BYOL or it can be pay as you go. So in most cases you can see we support both. Okay. Now, finally, let's talk about deep native integration. Now, native integration with our Fabric connectors and direct integration into the cloud platform. So, Fortinet has worked very closely with the cloud vendors to integrate our solutions into their security and automation infrastructure. So, Fortinet has worked closely to integrate Fortinet solutions the the cloud security and infrastructure. Okay, so for example, in AWS, Fortinet solutions will utilize the cloud formation templates for automation and to integrate with the AWS Security Hub to monitor security events and configurations. Now, or in the case of Microsoft Azure, Fortinet security products report security events to Azure Sentinel, and they utilize Azure Cloud Functions for automation. We also integrate very tightly with Azure Virtual LAN, and automation stitches can ensure that the cloud functions are called to ensure fast response to security events. Now we'll look at some of the use cases. So first use case we are looking at is cloud infrastructure visibility and control. So as cloud use increases, so does the likelihood of misconfiguration, right? Okay, anything we use, there is bound to be some human error, some misconfiguration. And now there are analysts who estimated that by 2023, okay, misconfigurations will cause 99% of security events, leading to disrupted services and unexpected costs or fines. Now, according to Gartner, also 90% of web-enabled applications will have more surface area for attack in the form of exposed APIs rather than user interface. Okay, and APIs are exposed in cloud. Okay, which used for automation and integration and orchestration, right? Now, 40CWP, that is Fortinet's cloud workload protection, leverages public cloud APIs to monitor activity and configuration of cloud resources. 40CWP continuously evaluates configurations across clouds, enables compliance violation reporting, and enhances compliance guidance of security best practices, and offers threat and management tools that can help trace the misconfigurations and security events to their sources. Okay, who caused that misconfiguration or who caused those particular security events. Okay, now let's have a look at 40CWP. Now you might have not come across Fortinet's cloud workload protection, so we'll have a look in brief what is Fortinet's cloud workload protection. So 40CWP basically addresses some of the most critical challenges faced by organizations, which are tasked with securing cloud environments, which, organizations who have cloud environments and they have to secure them. So for 40CWP can help them address some of the most critical challenges. It offers administrators, the key functionalities. So we'll discuss the key functionalities. So first of them is risk management. Okay, so it offers a risk management which enables security teams to focus on high priority issues and take quick remediation actions. Now, data security, which provides configuration assessments and analyzes documents inside cloud storage repositories for both malware and sensitive data. So we have data security as well, which can give you protection against sensitive data leakage and also malware. Okay, so it also provides traffic analysis and investigation that ensures visibility into all cloud resources to identify and monitor application traffic. Now, it also provides threat detection and response that delivers continuous threat monitoring across the entire security infrastructure. And it also provides compliance reports for common compliance standards such as PCI, HIPAA, GDPR, ISO, and NIST. Okay. Now, 40CWP provides a dashboard that allows you to see your security posture across different cloud platforms. So you can see here on the top left, you can, top right, you can see visibility across different cloud, that is AWS, Google, Azure, and so on. Okay. It allows you to identify your resources and any type of connections between them. It shows you all the documents and the data you may have posted online, and which ones contain sensitive data or malware. Okay, it allows you to identify what policies you might want to enforce and what remediation may be necessary. It is a very, very important tool. If if the customer has multiple clouds, this is a very, very useful tool. If you are looking in the price list for this particular product, it is called 40CWP Workload Guardian. Okay, we also have another part number which is called 40CWP Storage Guardian for protecting the storage services. The Workload Guardian is, as the name suggests, it is for host or workloads, that is host or instances. Okay, so it also provides a view into alerts across your environment, and it shows you activity that may be affecting your security posture. So it shows you the risk trend, it shows open alerts by severity, okay, all resources that are monitored, top policy violations. So it's a very, very useful dashboard. Okay. Now let's look at other use case, that is web application security. Now, organizations may host hundreds or even thousands of web applications in the cloud, and Now, ensuring that they're secured, maintained, and updated. Now, ensuring all of those are, secured or maintained and updated in a proper way is a nightmare for the, customer. So Fortinet can help secure customers' applications in the cloud with a combination of FortiWeb and FortiGate. Now, FortiWeb is Fortinet's web application firewall. It utilizes deep understanding of applications, real-time threat feeds, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to protect your applications for new and established tasks, established attacks. Okay, so it is FortiWeb is useful not just for known attacks; it is also useful for new and sophisticated or zero-day attacks. Now, FortiGate and FortiSandbox can enhance the web application security capabilities. Customers may also choose to integrate with FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer for management and analytics. For added protection, especially against configuration errors and identifying compliance issues, you can also consider using FortiCWP. Now, the final use case that we are looking in this presentation is, which is also a very important use case. It is the Central Security Services Hub, okay, also known as a transit network. So this network basically splits security management and operation from application development by providing security in a centralized shared logical network that's managed by the security team. So here in the slide you can see the cloud security services hub, and when if one particular cloud network wants to connect to other particular cloud network, it will go via this transit network. Same for the branch offices. Okay, so this approach of having a central security hub can securely connect other physical networks, offices, clouds, and data centers, all leveraging central security infrastructure. Okay, so this is basically network security. So here you can see, you can host your sandbox, you can host your web application security, you can host your email security, your FortiGate, everything on a cloud security services hub. Okay, so every connection passing from cloud to cloud or across your infrastructure will pass via this cloud security services hub. So in the cloud, we will also encounter, uh, you know, uh, traditional. So sorry. Now we'll talk about competition. Okay, when we talk about competition, so when we are discussing about public cloud computing, we are also talking about vast range of products, right? For when we talk about cloud security, that there is n number of products, right? Multiple products. But we'll look at a high level at three different categories. Okay, so the first category or the first type of competitors in the cloud are the cloud vendors themselves, which also act as partners for us and competitors as well, right? So all cloud vendors, they offer some security solutions, and customers, they might be tempted to go with them. Okay, now the key points to make when discussing these points, or this competition, is that security, we can tell them, the customers, that security is not the core competency of these cloud providers, and the and they're simply the goal of the cloud service providers is to simply lock the customers into their cloud. Okay, and that we can also tell them that they offer limited or no support for multi cloud or hybrid cloud management or analytics. What they will provide is only for their cloud, right? So if the customer has multi-cloud or dynamic cloud, it will not be of any help to go with those security solutions or management and analytics. Now, the next type of competition which we can see is security specialist. Okay. Now we all know these type of, we all know these type of competition, that is other security specialist. Okay, so they are our traditional competitors. It is other cybersecurity companies such as Checkpoint or Palo Alto Networks. So when asked at a high level how we compete with these vendors, we can simply say that they lack Fortinet's breadth of offerings. We saw, in the previous, in a few slides back, we saw the different solutions, or simply the number of solutions that Fortinet offers on the cloud. Okay, we can also say that they lack Fortinet's central management capabilities, and they lack the automation that Fortinet greatly emphasizes on. That is very very important. Okay. Finally, with the cloud, we have cloud native security vendors. Okay, these vendors are small specialty solutions, often delivered as a service from the cloud itself. Okay, your customers should understand that many of these newcomers will be bought by other vendors, and there is no way of knowing who they will ultimately be doing business with. Okay, they are simply some upcoming or niche technologies, then they might be acquired by some other vendor. So it's always a challenge to use those particular types of solutions. Okay, in addition, you can always point out that they lack Fortinet's breadth of offerings, they lack our deep patent portfolio, they lack our central management and analytics solutions, and they even lack a threat research institution like FortiGuard. Okay, FortiGuard is our global threat intelligence center. Finally, to sum up what we saw in the presentation today, so and why we choose why customers should choose Fortinet is basically because Fortinet is a security first vendor. So security is the first priority, or it's the forte of Fortinet, and it offers a unique security fabric, okay, to centrally manage and automate security. Now, Fortinet also offers a consistent operational model across clouds and platforms. Fortinet made a very heavy investment into building a world-class portfolio of security solutions backed by a world-class security lab, and it emphasizes growth through portfolio extensions backed by FortiGuard, which is the largest and most professional threat research institution. Okay, now this is it from my presentation point of view, but I would like to highlight one particular aspect is the licensing. Now, we talked about dynamic cloud, right? Dynamic cloud is basically, customer might have an on-prem solution, he moved it to public cloud, and later on he moved that application back from public cloud to private cloud. So it's dynamic, it's not, at one particular state. So now in this case, how the licensing works. So if we buy a FortiGate VM for on-prem, okay, that same license, when the application moves to the cloud, can be used, okay, on the FortiGate VM instance running on, for example, AWS. Okay, when the customer decides, okay, I don't want to use AWS anymore, I want to ship this application to Azure. Okay, that same FortiGate license can be used on Azure. Okay, now the customer decides, okay, I want to move it back to on-prem, but earlier I had VMware, now I'm using Microsoft Hyper-V. Now again, that same license can be used. So it's a platform agnostic license. Okay, so if you buy a license for you of course can use it for one particular or one simultaneous connection anytime, but those license can be used anywhere. So it greatly helps in migration. You can simply restore your configuration on any cloud. So this is very very important. Okay, so thank you guys for joining. I will check the Q&A section. If there are any questions, I will address them. So after that, we'll have a short quiz and then we'll end the session. So thank you so much for joining.
Are the winners. So we have Kareem in first place, Harrison second, and Piyush in third. Thank you so much for making time and joining the webinar session. I hope Josefa was able to deliver all of the required information. We have few more Fortinet sessions coming up, and we will definitely share invites with you. After the session, I will be reaching out to all of the winners and communicating as to what will be delivered to you from Fortinet. Thanks again. Thanks, Josefa, for the session, and I hope all of you have a great day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. So we'll see you again in the next session. So we'll soon meet up again. Thank you so much, guys, for attending.